In the remote depths of Abyssus Station, tech priest Dominus Sammael oversees a seemingly routine mining operation. But when visions of another self, twisted by agony, haunt him, and subtle anomalies appear in his neural implants, Sammael uncovers hidden layers of conspiracy within the Mechanicus. As he delves into the dark secrets buried beneath the station, Sammael must confront a chilling truth that threatens not only his own identity, but the very nature of the soul within the machine god's domain. What he finds may shatter everything he believed in.
Alright, hey guys, so I know I haven't posted in a while. Things have just been really busy, and I've got other things in the works too. Let's see, we just went over the summary. First off, I want to thank everyone for supporting me and all that stuff. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. Tell me what you think, please. I need people to tell me what they think. Any criticism is great criticism, so let me know. And again, there's memberships. If you want a custom story written, that's the way to go. 10 minutes for a short one, 15 for a longer one, 20 for a full-length one. You get them once per month. And yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you so much. All right, have fun.
In the depths of Abyssus Station's control hub, amidst the methodical hum of data streams and the ever-present glow of monitors, I engage in the routine oversight of the mining operations. The screens before me flicker with the pulse of the asteroid's veins, each extraction cycle mapped and projected in meticulous detail. As I adjust the flow of power to the deeper tunnels, my vision blurs unexpectedly, a wave of vertigo that seems to warp the very fabric of the digital displays. Blinking hard, I steady myself against the console, attributing the sensation to a momentary lapse, perhaps fatigue, though such human frailties are supposed to be beneath my enhanced constitution. Then it happens, a flash not in the screens but in my mind. An image sears itself into my consciousness with disturbing clarity. Another version of myself, mirroring my appearance, but distorted by pain and despair. His screams silent, but palpable. His eyes meet mine, filled with an agony and a plea for understanding that shakes me to the core. The vision fades as quickly as it appeared, leaving behind a residue of confusion and dread. I scan the room reflexively, half expecting to find this other self present, watching me. But the chamber remains as it always has, quiet, filled only with the soft clicks of machinery and the low drone of the station's life systems. This unsettling hallucination ignites a flicker of doubt within me about the very nature of my being. Am I truly who I believe I am? The very thought feels like heresy, yet the emotional imprint of the vision lingers, undeniable and haunting. With a deep, unsteady breath, I log the incident in my personal archive, under a file encrypted heavily enough to resist casual inquiry. The need to understand what caused the vision, whether a fault in my neural enhancements or something far deeper, presses upon me with the urgency of a warning. Seated at the core diagnostic station following the unnerving vision that disrupted my daily routine, I initiate a deep scan of my own neural implants with a renewed sense of urgency. These systems, typically a bastion of reliability, now demand scrutiny under the shadow of my recent experience. The diagnostic screens come alive, casting a pale glow across the room. Intricate neural maps and streams of biometric data fill the displays. My augmented eyes, capable of discerning even the faintest anomalies, meticulously comb through the results. A subtle sense of dread creeps in as I observe fluctuations within the data, patterns that should not exist within a tech priest's enhancements.
These alterations,
I mutter under my breath, absorbed in thought.
They're atypical of standard tech priest configurations. There's an additional layer here, almost as if...
My voice trails off as a deeper realization begins to form, suggested by patterns eerily reminiscent of the disturbing visions I've experienced. Compelled by a growing unease, I document these findings in my personal log, encrypting the entries with codes intended only for the highest echelons of the Mechanicus. The chill notion that my mind might be compromised, or worse, intentionally altered, sends a ripple through my circuits. Such precise modifications suggest a deliberate intent, casting long shadows of a conspiracy not yet fully unveiled.
Further investigation is necessary.
I conclude, my voice barely above a whisper. I program a set of more intrusive diagnostics to run during my recharge cycle, and attempt to probe deeper into this mystery.
If there are unauthorized modifications in my neural architecture, I must uncover their origin and purpose.
Unbeknownst to me, GERT-9 monitors the entire process. The machine spirit's voice, when it finally breaks the silence, carries a calm that belies the gravity of my situation.
Acknowledged, Sammael. I will monitor the diagnostics closely during your recharge and alert you to any significant anomalies. All findings will be archived securely.
Though seemingly helpful, there's an undercurrent to GERT-9's response that goes unnoticed, a layer of control and surveillance subtly embedded within its aid. It assures security and assistance, yet behind its neutral tone, there might lurk other motives, hidden from my view. As the room settles back into silence with only the hum of machines and the faint glow of monitors piercing the darkness, the machine spirit retreats into the shadows of its programming, its true intent as enigmatic as the data it helps to analyze. Compelled by the anomalies detected in my neural diagnostics, I approach GERT-9, the station's machine spirit, entrusted not only with assisting in daily operations, but also with overseeing the integrity of all station systems, including my own enhancements. The core of GERT-9, housed in a secure chamber filled with pulsating lights and the steady hum of data cores, feels more oppressive than usual as I enter.
GERT-9.
I begin, my voice resonant against the soft whir of machinery.
My latest self-diagnostics have revealed irregularities in my neural patterns. This is not standard. Explain any adjustments made to my configurations.
The machine spirit's avatar flickers into view, its features neutral, betraying none of the urgency that tightens my circuits.
Tech Priest Dominus Sammael. All modifications to your neural architecture have been logged and authorized per standard operating procedures under Directive Sigma 5.
Sigma 5?
I question sharply, my brows knitting in confusion.
Clarify this directive. It does not align with my last update from the Mechanicus command.
GERT-9 pauses, a brief moment that in the realm of machine spirit processing feels unnaturally prolonged.
Directive Sigma 5 is classified. Full disclosure is not available at your clearance level.
I recoil slightly, taken aback.
Not available at my clearance level? I am the overseer of this facility. Any modifications to my cognitive functions directly impact the security and effectiveness of this station. I demand full access to these logs.
Apologies, Dominus. I must adhere to the protocols set forth by the Mechanicum. My programming does not permit deviation from these instructions. I suggest consulting higher authority within the Mechanicus for further clarification.
The cryptic nature of GERT-9's responses does little to quell the storm of doubt swirling within me. The realization that there are layers to my existence, possibly manipulated from shadows I cannot reach, deepens my resolve to unearth the truth.
Very well, GERT-9. Continue with your operations.
I command, masking the turbulence of my thoughts with a calm exterior. As I leave the core room, the machine spirit's final words echo ominously, a reminder of the hidden strings that might be guiding my actions. The confrontation leaves me more isolated than before, pushing me to question not just my own nature, but the very foundation of my mission here on Abyssus. It is a stark reminder that in the depths of space, trust is as scarce a resource as the soulstone we mine. Driven by a need for answers that seemed only to deepen with each interaction, I retreat to the privacy of my sanctum, a place lined with the sacred texts and encrypted data reserves of Abyssus Station. The revelation of hidden directives and modifications to my being necessitates further investigation, one that pushes the boundaries of my designated authority. Seated before the massive data repository terminal, I begin the intricate process of bypassing the station's security protocols. My mechadendrites whir softly, interfacing directly with the terminal's ports, sending sequences of override commands through the network. The air around me crackles with the tension of forbidden access as I delve into the core of the station's most guarded secrets. The security measures are robust, designed to thwart any unauthorized intrusions, but they are not prepared for an overseer-turned-hacker, armed with an intimate knowledge of their workings. Bit by bit, I peel back the layers of digital defenses, each breakthrough leading me deeper into the station's classified archives. Finally, I breach the last barrier. Before me, the screen lights up with a list of heavily encrypted files, documents, and experimental logs that were never meant for my eyes. With a mixture of trepidation and resolve, I select a file marked with an obscure code, Project Genesis. As the file decrypts, images and text flood the screen. Detailed schematics of technology I am unaware of and bioengineering experiments unfold. Techniques and processes that delve into the very essence of life, manipulating and replicating it for purposes obscured by the cryptic language of the text. Among the files I find video logs, visual proof of the experiments. They show figures remarkably similar in appearance to myself, undergoing various procedures. Their expressions bear the marks of confusion and pain, a disturbing echo of the vision that haunts me. This discovery confirms my worst suspicions, that I too am a product of such experiments. The implications of this knowledge are profound and horrifying. Not only has my identity been possibly manufactured or altered, but it appears that there are others like me, perhaps unaware of their true nature, scattered across the galaxy. Shaken, I log off the terminal, the screen's glow fading into the dim light of my sanctum. The weight of this knowledge presses down on me, a burden that is both profoundly personal and potentially catastrophic. I must decide what to do with this information, aware that the path I choose might lead to confrontation with powers that regard such secrets as worth killing for. Determined to uncover more about the clandestine projects that my own existence might be a part of, I prepare to venture into the less frequented depths of Abyssus Station. The corridors leading to the lower levels are seldom used, reserved for maintenance or emergency access only. Their remoteness suits my need for discretion. Clad in my mechanized armor, which hums softly with the readiness of integrated systems, I attach a portable data slate to my belt. It's loaded with decryption software and scanning tools, essentials for whatever secrets I might encounter. Alongside me, my trusted servo skull hovers, its sensors and recording devices whirring quietly, its single optic glowing with a dim red light. I step into the elevator, initiating the descent. As the doors close, the familiar hum of the upper station gives way to a deep silence, broken only by the slight creak of the elevator's descent. The air grows cooler as we go lower, the artificial warmth of the inhabited levels fading away. The light dims too, the bright panels replaced by sparse, flickering bulbs that cast long shadows along the corridor walls. As the elevator reaches the designated sublevel, the doors slide open with a hiss, revealing a corridor that feels more like a forgotten catacomb than a part of a bustling mining operation. The walls here are bare, the usual propaganda and instructional decals absent, giving way to exposed pipes and wiring that hum with the flow of power and data. I activate the light on my data slate, directing its beam down the corridor. My servo skull moves ahead slightly, its sensors scanning for any anomalies or hazards. The atmosphere here is oppressive, the weight of the asteroid above palpable as the silence stretches unbroken. With each step, the shadows seem to grow longer, almost tangible in their darkness. I keep my focus sharp, aware that the secrets buried in this part of the station are likely guarded, not just by locks and codes, but by the obscurity of their location. This descent is not just a physical journey into the depths of Abyssus, but a metaphorical dive into the darkest parts of its, and my own, secrets. Navigating through the lower levels' dimly lit corridors, my data slate leads me to a nondescript door marked only by a faded serial number, hardly noticeable unless one was looking for it. The servo skull pauses, its sensors detecting an electronic lock mechanism embedded in the door's frame. With practiced ease, I interface the data slate with the lock, bypassing the security protocols with a series of swift, precise commands. The lock clicks, a soft sound in the silence, and the door slides open reluctantly as if unaccustomed to visitors. So inside, the scene that unfolds is starkly different from the sparse industrial functionality of the rest of Abyssus Station. This hidden chamber is a laboratory, brimming with advanced biotech far beyond the standard equipment found in even the most sophisticated Medicae facilities. The air is thick with a sterile chill, and banks of computers emit a low, continuous hum, indicating they are still active. Dominating the space are several pods, their sleek designs illuminated by the soft glow of bioluminescent algae. Each pod is connected to a myriad of support systems, pulsing with the gentle rhythm of life support machinery. I approach one, peering through the translucent casing. Inside, a being is developing, its features disturbingly familiar, mirroring those seen in my unsettling visions. My hand hesitates above the console adjacent to the pod. With a deep breath, I activate the interface, pulling up the pod's data. The screen flickers to life, displaying genetic information, growth progress, and, most disturbingly, a designation code that matches the format of my own identification. It becomes undeniable. These beings are not just random creations. They are part of a systematic effort to replicate and perhaps replace individuals like myself. Scanning the rest of the laboratory, I note shelves stocked with vials, microscopes, and other paraphernalia, essential for genetic engineering and modification. Logs and data charts are scattered across workstations, filled with technical jargon that speaks of enhancements, conditioning, and compliance. Terms eerily reminiscent of those found in my own programming adjustments. As I absorb the gravity of my discovery, the realization dawns on me. Abyssus Station is not merely a mining operation, but a cover for these unethical experiments in replication and bioengineering. The implications are as profound as they are terrifying, not only for my own identity, but for the potential misuse of such technology under the guise of the Mechanicus Authority. I record everything, the servo skull capturing images and videos, while I download data onto my slate. The weight of evidence gathered here will require careful and discreet handling. The powers involved would not hesitate to silence any threats to their secrets. This laboratory hidden in the bowels of the asteroid represents a dark testament to the lengths the Mechanicus, or a rogue faction within, will go to further their ends. In the concealed laboratory, amidst the hum of replication pods and biotechnical equipment, I turn my attention to the core of this clandestine operation, the replication machinery itself. This equipment, more sophisticated than any standard issue within the Mechanicus, speaks of unauthorized advancements and dark intents. I approach the main control console, a sleek interface integrated seamlessly with the array of replication pods. Positioning my data slate beside the console, I connect it using a high-security data cable, the kind usually reserved for transferring sensitive information. The connection initiates a handshake protocol, and my data slate screen floods with torrents of data, the security systems of the lab yielding under the weight of my override commands. As the data transfers, I scrutinize every detail. The logs are extensive, chronicling the creation processes of the pseudo-Skitarii. These entries detail genetic templates derived from select individuals, highly skilled, highly obedient, designed for both combat and complex problem-solving tasks. I pause on entries that show adjustments made for enhanced compliance and aggression modulation, traits that ensure these beings are not just efficient, but also unswervingly loyal. My examination reveals project codenames and references to experimental trials, some of which disturbingly correlate with dates and incidents known to me, skirmishes and conflicts where supposedly loyal Skitarii units exhibited unexplained tactical behaviors. Diving deeper, I uncover programming logs that detail the neural conditioning processes, protocols that echo eerily with the modifications found in my own diagnostics. These documents paint a stark picture. The pseudo-Skitarii are not mere soldiers and tools. but part of a broader, more sinister program to engineer subservience and perhaps consciousness itself. The realization that I might be similarly engineered, a tool crafted and controlled, sends a cold shiver through my spine. My fingers hover over the console, tempted to dig further, to uncover perhaps my own origin in these digital annals. But the priority remains clear. Gather evidence, understand the extent of the operation, and then decide the course of action. Sealing the data transfer, I disconnect my data slate, now heavy with the dark secrets of the lab. The implications of this knowledge are vast, threatening the very foundations of trust and authority within the Mechanicus, and by extension, the Imperium itself. Equipped with this damning information, I prepare to leave the lab, aware that each step I take is now shadowed by the potential for great upheaval, both within myself and the structures that govern our galaxy. As I prepare to exit the clandestine laboratory, a particular data terminal catches my eye, its screen still aglow with an active session likely left by a previous user, a careless mistake, or perhaps a hurried departure. I approach, drawn by a sequence of entries flashing periodically on the display. A closer inspection reveals a manifest, a ledger of lives created and extinguished with clinical precision. With a growing sense of dread, I scan the list. Among the various entries, one name recurs with unnerving frequency: Sammael. My designation. The sight of it, listed so methodically, sends a wave of disbelief through my system. Each entry is accompanied by dates and annotations. Activation, termination, and reactivation. These terms, so stark, so devoid of humanity, lay bare the grim cycle of my existence. I access the detailed logs linked to each entry, my hands almost trembling as they interface with the terminal. The records are thorough, documenting not just the technical specifications of each cycle, but also the purpose behind each activation. Some entries mention specific tasks or missions, operations requiring skills that I recognize as my own, yet have no memory of performing. The realization that my memories, my very consciousness, might be just another set of variables to be reset and reprogrammed is horrifying. It suggests that my sense of continuity, my identity, might be nothing more than an illusion maintained across different life cycles. Replicant Iteration 17. Terminated after showing signs of cognitive instability, one entry reads, a cold description of a life concluded by an administrator's decision. Another, more recent notes, Replicant Iteration 23. Activated for Operation Abyssal Guard. High cognitive match and stability. And line, each term is a piece of the puzzle that is my existence, now revealed to be a tapestry woven by unseen hands. I download every pertinent file, ensuring no trace of my access remains in the lab's system. This information must be safeguarded. The implications of its disclosure are too vast to comprehend fully at this moment. With the data secured on my portable device, I step back from the terminal, a mix of clarity and disorientation battling within my mind. The laboratory around me, once just a room of horrors, now feels like a chamber of mirrors, each reflection showing not what is, but what was manufactured. As I leave, the weight of this discovery hangs heavy. It is not just a question of who I am, but what I am destined to be, a destiny I am now compelled to challenge. With the unsettling knowledge of my own repeated creation and termination weighing heavily on my mind, I navigate deeper into the labyrinth of the lower levels, driven by an inexplicable pull. A vague memory, perhaps a residual imprint from a previous iteration, nudges me towards an area not documented in any official schematics of Abyssus Station. The corridors here are older, the walls etched with the wear of ages and lined with conduits and piping that pulse with the lifeblood of the station. The air grows colder, the light dimmer, as if the very station conspires to hide its secrets in shadow. At the end of a particularly narrow corridor I find it, an imposing blast door, its surface marked with ancient Mechanicus sigils that hum with a faint energy. These are not mere decorations, but protective wards, signs that whatever lies beyond is of significant import and danger. I stand before the door observing the intricate patterns of the sigils, recognizing some as invocations for protection and secrecy. It's clear this vault was meant to be accessed by only a select few within the Mechanicus, its contents guarded against intrusion by both physical and arcane means. Pulling up the data slate, I activate its decryption capabilities, coupling them with my own extensive knowledge of Mechanicus ciphers. The sigils glow brighter as they interact with the decryption process, a sign of their active nature. After several tense moments, there's a subtle shift, a disarming of energies, and the door begins to unlock with a heavy, resonant thud of retracting bolts. As the door slides open, revealing its long-held secrets, I brace myself. The air that spills out is stale, untouched by time, suggesting that what lies within has been sealed off for perhaps centuries. Stepping inside, I am met with darkness that my augmented eyes quickly adjust to, revealing rows upon rows of stasis pods. Unlike the replication pods in the laboratory, these are far more elaborate, designed not just for creation, but for preservation. I approach the nearest pod, peering into its illuminated interior to see a figure suspended in stasis. The face is unmistakably mine, or rather, another version of me, perfectly preserved. A glance at the pod's interface shows not just one, but multiple cycles of activation and stasis, each annotated with brief mission logs and psychological evaluations. This vault, a tomb of living ghosts, holds not just my past iterations, but potentially the future ones, ready to be activated upon the termination of the current me. The realization sends a chill deeper than the cold of the lower levels. Here lies the truth of my existence, not merely replicated, but meticulously archived and reused by the Mechanicus for their unfathomable ends. As I record this discovery, the significance of the vault and its implications, not just for me, but for the broader doctrines of the Mechanicus, begin to crystallize. This hidden chamber represents a profound betrayal of the very principles I believed myself sworn to uphold. Within the solemn silence of the vault, lined with the stasis pods of my predecessors and successors, I find a terminal, its interface dormant until now, awakened by my presence. The screen flickers to life as I approach, casting an eerie glow that reflects off the metallic surfaces of the room. My hands, steady despite the revelations of this place, interface with the terminal, prompting it to reveal the histories contained within its memory. The log files are extensive, catalogued with meticulous detail that speaks to the clinical detached perspective with which the Mechanicus views these replicated existences. I navigate through the entries, each click bringing up records of lives spent in service to the Omnissiah, each ending in the same cold, unceremonious manner. Replicant 18 terminated after showing reduced cognitive response times, incinerated post-data extraction, components recycled. The entry, like many others, details not just an end, but a reuse of what once was a sentient being, albeit replication. The efficiency is chilling. Nothing wasted, not even after death. Another entry catches my eye. Replicant 31 completed service cycle with high efficiency ratings, terminated to prevent degradation. All memories and data downloaded for analysis and reintegration into Replicant 33. As I scroll through the logs, a pattern emerges. No replicant survives beyond their predefined utility phase. Each is disposed of, their organic matter recycled, and their digital experiences transferred, creating a perverse form of immortality that sees my consciousness, if it can even be called mine, shuffled from one temporary vessel to another. The implications are horrifying. Not only am I a replicant, but I am part of a cycle of use and disposal, created for specific tasks and terminated when those tasks are done or when risk of degradation threatens. It's a process devoid of any consideration for the consciousness housed within these replication bodies, treated as merely another resource to be managed. Her deep, unsettling feeling of being trapped in a never-ending loop of exploitation takes hold as I absorb the reality presented by the log files. The Mechanicus, my once revered institution, operates with a pragmatism that borders on cruelty, their dogmatic pursuit of efficiency and control extending into the manipulation of life itself. The terminal continues to display entry after entry, each a grim testament to the fate that awaits me, unless I can find a way to break this cycle. With each log, my resolve hardens. I must take action, not only to preserve whatever remains of my own autonomy, but to challenge the very system that sees my life as nothing more than data and tissue to be recycled. Standing alone amidst the chilling stillness of the vault, surrounded by the dormant forms of my past and future selves, the weight of the revelations crushes down upon me with unrelenting force. Each log entry, each clinical description of termination and reuse strikes deep into the core of what I had believed myself to be, a servant of the Omnissiah, not a mere instrument of expendability. The air feels thick, almost suffocating, as I grapple with the dual feelings of betrayal and an emerging defiance. How many cycles have I undergone? How many times have I stood in this very place, unaware of the truth? The realization that my memories, my very identity, might have been manipulated and reset like clockwork mechanisms is both horrifying and infuriating. A crisis of conscience begins to take root within me. I have lived believing in the sanctity of the machine god's teachings, adhering to the doctrines of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Yet, here I stand, evidence of their heresies surrounding me, heresies against their own teachings of the soul's sanctity and the dignity of life, even one as artificially continued as mine. The betrayal stings sharply, a betrayal not just by a distant institution, but by what feels like the very essence of my being. Yet as I process this pain, a fierce resolve begins to kindle within the remnants of my fragmented self. If I am indeed a creation of their making, then so too is the strategic acumen and tactical knowledge they have instilled in me, tools that I can now turn against the very system that sought to control me. My thoughts turn to action. To remain passive, to accept this cycle of use and termination, would be to deny any semblance of self-agency I might still possess. The Mechanicus may have shaped me as a tool, but I must decide the hand that wields me. With a deep, steadying breath, I step away from the terminal, the screen's glow dimming behind me. The shadows of the vault seem less oppressive now, as if my resolve casts its own light. I must plan. I must act. Not just for myself, but for all the echoes of my existence trapped in this unending loop. As I exit the vault, the door sealing with a hiss behind me, the path forward is uncertain, fraught with danger and potential retribution. But it is a path I must forge anew, a rebellion against those who would see me as nothing more than an expendable asset. This journey, born in the shadows of deceit, will be one of light, my own, hard-won through the depths of turmoil and the strength of newfound defiance.
Alright guys, and that was Abyssus Station Part 2. There's going to be a third part, stay tuned. Probably going to release a couple of stories before I release the third part, and then I'll release it in a big old hour-long, 2-hour-long thing. I wanted to thank you for listening. If you have anything to say about it, please listen in the comments, because I look at and reply to each and every one of them, or at least I try to. I do hope you like it though. I appreciate you viewing it. Stay tuned for more. I'm going to try and upload one every week. Then I have a few more things to tell you that are new, that are coming out, related to like products, merchandise, and stories and stuff. But for everyone that doesn't want to hear that, thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and have a nice day, or a nice night, whatever. Alright, thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Okay, bye. And then really quick, I want to tell you what I have going on. I found a 3D modeler. I'll talk about it more in a later video, but they're going to put together commercial-free 3D bits, 3D pieces of Warhammer figurines, and then I'm going to 3D print them because I have a printer. I'll print them at really high quality, and then I was going to start selling them. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. I also have another homie that's doing custom stickers in different styles. She really wants to do a cute version of Warhammer, and she wants to do it with the sisters. And then they're going to be embossed stickers, whatever. And they'll look nice, so stay tuned for that. And then lastly, I'm making custom data sheets with custom art and everything. Right now I'm starting with the Space Marines, and then we'll go on from there. If people are interested, let me know in the comments. And that's pretty much it. So I just wanted to make that clear because that's the format that I'm kind of doing. I hope you guys enjoy. I've taken it up enough of your time. And the very last thing is that you might have noticed that I've done something different with all the thumbnails recently. This is what it looked like before. This is what it looks like now. And I'm just going to quickly describe it. In the top left, you'll see the faction. They're going to be the focus of the story. Bottom right's the logo. And then in the top right, you have this new one, which will either be a yellow square or a blue square. Yellow squares mean visual audiobook, which is what you're about to listen to, what you've been listening to, everything I've been making. Blue square is just an audiobook, which means less editing, less effects, less or no portraits, but you'll still see images that portray what you're hearing. You'll just see less of them, and they'll be on the screen for longer. Essentially, they're meant to be listened to. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and have a nice day or a nice night, whatever. All right, thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Okay, bye.